Hello, this is Janet Michael. In addition to hosting The Valley Today each weekday at noon on the River 95.3, I also produce podcasts. And I'm excited to kick off Season 2 of our podcast series in partnership with Rappahannock Electric Cooperative. It's called We Are REC. Every week we'll release a new episode talking to different people from REC about a host of different topics. We'll get tips for saving money on your electric bill. We'll talk about renewable energy and the impact it can have in our communities. We'll get some behind-the-scenes info about what happens when the power goes out in a storm. Don't miss out on information about community grants, scholarships, REC-hosted events, and more. Get every single episode on our website at theriver953.com under the podcast tab, or you can subscribe for free in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or on Spotify. Just do a quick search for We Are REC. Hello and welcome to The Valley Today. I am your host, Janet Michael. Happy Tuesday as you are listening to the show today. We, however, have pre-recorded on a Thursday afternoon so that we could have a conversation over Zoom with Jessica Priest-Cahill. She is the Executive Director of Warren County's Habitat for Humanity. Jessica, thank you for taking some time this afternoon to meet me on the Zoom screen. I appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me, Janet.
Well, I want to talk about the event that you guys have coming up on September 12th, on Saturday, September 12th, at Home with Habitat. But before we get into the details of the event, give me a quick refresher on Warren County Habitat. What do you guys do? What kinds of services do you provide to the community?
Warren County Habitat is a nonprofit organization supporting affordable home ownership. Specifically, we build homes for families that fall between 30 and 60% of our adjusted median income. They typically have been building about a house every 3 years. We are hoping in the future to ramp up to building at least 3 houses a year. We also have a repair program. The income limits, it's still serving low income families. The repair program is focused on owner occupant dwellings. And those are critical repair, weatherization repairs. We'll be opening up another repair window later this fall as people start needing their heat, and we want to make sure that we've opened the program for them. And again, they've typically been running 3 to 5 repairs a year maybe, and we're trying to increase that to at least 10 repairs a year, maybe more. We've been looking at other organizations to partner with to be able to increase our impact in the community. We're also planning to start some home ownership classes in the fall. We'll have some information on that at the Home Expo, but that's the first step to applying or becoming a Habitat homeowner. You have to go through the education program on it's basic financial education, first-time home buyer education, home maintenance education. So, and learning about what Habitat's all about. So that is Habitat's programming, and like I said, there'll be a lot more information at the Home Expo, more details and people to talk to about those programs.
Well, and I think it's important that you mention the homeowner classes, because you're not just building these houses and giving them away. When someone qualifies and is having one of these habitat houses built, they are in the process, in the weeds from the very beginning of learning how it's going to be a homeowner, to sweat equity. They're making payments. They're literally buying these houses as anybody else would. They just get a little bit of a break on the interest rate, right?
Yes. So Habitat is, we provide mortgages. There's 0% interest mortgage. Again, it's serving low income families. So the to qualify, your family's income must fall between 30 and 60% of AMI. You have to demonstrate need, lack of adequate housing, or maybe the sharing housing, or your current housing is not appropriate for your family's size. You've outgrown where you are. So there are a few, other than income, there are a few other requirements to qualify for a Habitat home. But yes, the homeowners do participate in building their home or other Habitat homes. That's the sweat equity. They do pay a mortgage, so we want to make sure that we are supporting our homeowners and potential homeowners so that they can be successful at homeownership. We've been looking at partnerships with specifically with USDA and VHDA to expand financing opportunities, so that if a family doesn't qualify through us, maybe we can get them into another program where they would qualify, and then we can keep our services. We can make sure that we're serving those people that wouldn't necessarily qualify for some of those other government sponsored programs. So, all of that's all. It's a partnership housing model. So, we don't look at our families as just a client. They're a partner in building their house and serving our community. So
now the repair program, do you have homeowners that also help you with the repairs themselves, or is this a program because the homeowner isn't capable of fixing or taking care of whatever maintenance might need to be done?
So there's still an element of that sweat equity. That's the Habitat model. But in many cases, because that home repair program serves a lot of elderly and disabled individuals mainly. So in some cases, they're not able to help with repairs on their home, but they still are able to come down to the office and help with mailings or help serve lunch at a job site one day. So, there is still an element of them being partners in the program. So there is still sweat equity, but we do tailor it to what people's abilities are.
You can get a little creative with how they're sweating it out.
Yes, we've had to be very creative with some of the COVID restrictions. So with people not being able to, we had to restrict the number of volunteers that could be. We had to close job sites for a little bit, and then we have to restrict the number of volunteers on job sites and try to keep that at a minimum. So that, we've definitely had to be more creative with things that people can do at home, even to volunteer their time. But there's so much to, I think that people think about volunteering for Habitat and they think about swinging a hammer, and there is a lot more to it. So we're always looking for volunteers, and happy to answer questions about that if someone wants to send me an email or give me a call. But there's a lot of ways you can help Habitat.
And that was going to be one of my questions, is what kind of impact has COVID had? Because you're right. I'm sure you can't have full work crews out trying to build or fix houses. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure it has given you a pretty big hit to your fundraising efforts as well, because you can't do events like you would have normally.
Yes. We had a couple of events planned, or an outreach things that just had to be canceled. We did have our Build a Nest fundraiser, was an auction we had in the spring, and we had to transition that to an online auction. And there's been quite a learning curve. We're excited. This event isn't as we'd hoped for it to be a little bit larger, but with all of the restrictions, I think the size is just right for keeping everybody separated and safe on site. And but it's you just have to be a little bit more, I guess, creative, and figuring out how to reach your fundraising goals, but also reach your volunteers and reach. I mean, it's actually been difficult. A lot of our information goes out through churches and social service organizations that aren't open right now, or at least aren't open in person. So, getting some of the word out about some of our programs to potential clients is even, we've had to rethink some of that, how we reach out to the people that might need our services. So
yeah, it was a double whammy kind of all the way around for you guys in particular.
Yeah. And, we had a lot of, it was, we were saying, it's a new year in Habitat, and had a lot of plans to make some big changes. And then it was almost like everything was on pause for a few months while we figured out how everything was going to work with COVID. And but now we did move into a new office in June. So we're located at 109 Water Street now. And that's pretty exciting. We had hoped that would give us space to do classes in person, right? But right now it looks like we'll probably be offering classes online rather, just because the space with 6-foot distancing, it's a nice, much larger than our old office, but
it's not that much larger.
Yeah, not that much larger. So, it's a matter of, am I going to get 5 people in a class, or online I could have 15 in the class. So, anyway, so there's still some things that need to be worked out, and I'm sure for everybody, there's learning Zoom and learning all these new platforms on how to interact with people in a new way.
Yeah, I think that's the only saving grace for a lot of businesses and nonprofits, is that you're all somewhat on a level playing field, because everybody's having to learn how to do this as they go along.
Yes, definitely.
Well, let's take a quick break. When we come back, can you give me all of the details about the Home Expo? It's happening Saturday. I know it's at the Warren County Fairgrounds. And from what I have seen on the press release, it looks like it's going to be a really fun learning kind of day. So can we talk all the details about that when we come back?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to continue our conversation with Jessica Priest Cahill. She is the executive director at Warren County Habitat for Humanity. They are hosting At Home with Habitat. It is a home expo happening on Saturday, September 12th at the Warren County Fairgrounds. We're going to get more details about that when we come back in just a couple of minutes.
Do you know anyone who is struggling with financial hardships because of coronavirus? Our new webinar called Coping with the Money Crunch can help. We'll talk about immediate options to consider, revising or creating a spending plan, and lots of community resources. Then we'll cover how to narrow your priorities, contact creditors, and avoid scams and risky loans. The webinar is free, and you can either join by phone or through Zoom on a smartphone, tablet, or computer. You can find out more by visiting the Northern Shenandoah Valley Financial Education Program on Facebook, or calling Karen Poff at 540-635-4549. Let me show you how to make your own plan or help someone you care about get through the crisis. Call 635-4549 or visit at NSV Financial Education on Facebook today.
Welcome back to the Valley today. I am your host, Janet Michael. Happy Tuesday as you are listening to the show today. We, however, have pre-recorded our conversation with Jessica Jessica Priest Cahill. She is the executive director at Warren County Habitat for Humanity. And Jessica, we talked in the first segment about all of the different opportunities that Habitat presents to our community in a low income bracket to be able to be a homeowner, including the home repair services, and kind of how COVID has snatched away a lot of opportunities for you, and you guys have had to pivot, fundraising being the biggest thing that it's probably had a detrimental impact impact on. But you guys are doing an event on Saturday at the fairgrounds called At Home with Habitat, and it's a home expo. How did you come up with that idea?
Well, we had actually started planning for doing the home expo in January, and then when COVID hit, we put it on pause. We were like, oh, we don't know if we're going to be able to do an event like that. and um, and as we got closer and things started loosening up, and people, really seemed to be looking to get out of their houses and do some things in a space where they can still be separate and keep their social distance. So we thought, well, let's go ahead and it might not be as big as we had planned, but we can go ahead and go forward with it. It'll still be a good day. It'll still be a way to reach out to the community, let them know what Habitat's all about, and get some information out to the community about things they could be doing at their own homes. So, but we're looking at events that, we don't have a home expo type show that happens in Warren County. There is a spring garden show in Winchester, but we wanted to focus on businesses and organizations in Warren County. So and it's right, it's Habitat, so home show seems like the right kind of event for us. So we decided to go ahead and go with, or do our first home expo. We had thought about town. A lot of events happen downtown, but I'm glad we had already talked to the fairgrounds about having it out there, and it's actually a perfect space for this event. It gives the room for the vendors. We actually are going to have 3 bands playing that day, so there's space for the performers. We're going to have demonstrations of decorating techniques, and so it gives space for that. And then we're also going to have a upcycle, or we're calling it upcycle center, which is sort of like a yard sale with tools and home repair supplies. But so there's lots of space at the fairgrounds for us to have all of those activities going on in one place, and plenty of parking and plenty of room for people to spread out as they're watching the bands, or visiting the vendors, or watching the demos. So we're glad that we had already had that conversation with the fairgrounds about having it there, and because it actually works really well with the times that we're living in right now. So
it checks so many boxes. I mean, you mentioned that earlier because you are Habitat for Humanity. So your entire premise is home ownership.
Yeah.
And right now in this pandemic, people across the country are stuck in their homes and they're thinking, I need to paint this room, or I want to redo my kitchen, or maybe it's time to enclose the patio, or do some landscaping. So this is going to be a great opportunity for people not to just get out of the house in a safe environment that's outdoors, but give them some ideas for what they can do in their own houses.
Yeah. So, and that's, you mentioned people being, getting off track, but you mentioned about people being stuck in their homes. And I just want to bring up that that's something that the pandemic has also brought to attention. What if home's not a good place to be? What if it's not safe? So, it's just something that has really brought home that the mission of Habitat is so important, that everyone deserves a decent place to live. But getting back to the home expo, I go into Lowe's almost every weekend because I live in a fixer-upper, and it's been packed the whole time. So definitely everybody is out thinking about doing. I'm at my house. I want to make it a place where I enjoy being. But yeah, that was exactly the idea. And then Habitat, we don't have a Restore here in Warren County, but Habitat Restore, the whole premise behind that is, let's not throw this stuff away, that is left over at job sites or left, excess stock from home improvement store. So, let's resell that, and that those funds can go back into Habitat. And again, we don't have a Restore in Warren County, but we still support that same premise of, there's no reason to throw something away that is usable. So that's where we, the idea of upcycling, might be looking at an item and using it in a non-traditional way. Maybe we'll have a door, and you could make that into a table instead of using it as a door, or into a shelf or something. I mean, there's lots of great ideas, and we'll have some ideas. Once I see what's in the upcycle center, I'll put out some ideas on how you could possibly use this in a non-traditional way. So, but we'll have, flooring and cabinets that are already put together that you don't have to create yourself. And then, and some of the demos are around the same premise as, I have this piece of furniture that I don't really like the color or the style of it anymore. Well, what could I do to, repurpose it for another function, or just redecorate it so that it's something that is more my style now. So, but yeah, so, we'll have lots of items. We are accepting donations for the Upcycle Center. I don't have space to store, and I can't pick up donations, but if people have donations, they can drop them off at the fairgrounds between noon and 7 on Friday. And look for there'll be signs to point out where to drop off, and donations to Habitat, are tax deductible to the extent of the law. So, I can provide receipts for items that you drop off if you wait for one. But all those items will be selling, and the money will go back into Habitat programs, and services that we're offering the community. So,
I'll tell you what, before we wrap up, let me do a round of rapid fire questions. Okay, so where is the Home Expo at Home with Habitat going to be?
It's at the Warren County Fairgrounds.
What day is it happening?
Saturday, September 12th.
What time is it happening?
10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Does it cost anything to come?
No, admission is free.
Will there be live music?
There will be live music. We have Passage Creek Rising, Excel, and Downtown Garage.
Will there be food?
Yes, there will be food.
What kinds of vendors are going to be there set up with booths?
So some of them are home improvement or home or supply companies like Culligan. There's a security company. The library will be there with their National Library Card Month and SammyCon. So if you want to put on your superhero cape, because the SammyCon theme this year is local heroes, but they'll be there. You can get your library card. The Master Gardeners will have an info booth, just about fall planting and planting for native plants and native pollinators. Blue Ridge Housing will be there talking about their programs, because they're a great partner with us.
What kinds of donations are you hoping for people to bring by for the Upcycle Center?
New flooring, lights, small furniture items, hardware, just about anything that you could use, and old paint as long as it's usable, tools, anything that people could use in a home a small home repair or a home decorating project.
And when can they drop those off to donate?
12 to 7 on Friday, September 11th at the fairgrounds.
And will the flea market still be happening while this is going on?
Yes, the flea market will be open.
If anybody has been like me, I have not been on Pinterest in forever and have spent more time on Pinterest in the last 6 months than I have in the last 6 years. And I think I have now seen every single episode of Flea Market Flip, so that there are all of these ideas bouncing around in my head. This seems like the great place to be able to come and kind of pull a bunch of ideas together into actual projects that I can do.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Between the vendors, the upcycle center, the demos, there will be lots of inspiration.
So where can people get more information if they want to come and attend on Saturday?
They can get more information at our website. It's warrencountyhabitat.org, all spelled out. And there is a link to the event information.
And do you guys have social media? Do you have a Facebook?
Oh, yes. We have a Facebook page, and it's Warren County Habitat on Facebook. We also have a Twitter and an Instagram page, but they're really new and something I could use a volunteer for.
I was going to say, you sound like you're...
So we're trying to expand that, but it's
and that's another perfect example of how somebody can volunteer without having any COVID restrictions,
yes.
because you can do that stuff from your own house.
Exactly.
Or from anywhere.
Yes. But yeah, so probably the website or Facebook are the best places to get information. And just really quickly, can I thank our sponsors?
Absolutely.
So the event is sponsored by CBM Mortgage, Quality Title, Brandon Elizabeth Events, Stephen and Exceed Home Mortgage, and Hazard Mill Farm. So we're really grateful to them for helping us to make this event happen. And we're looking forward to a really fun day with entertainment, inspiration, and lots of
projects.
Yes.
Projects.
Yes.
Well, Jessica, thank you for taking some time this afternoon to tell me all about the event. I hope it's a huge success.
Yeah, we do too. And it'll be a fun day. And it is rain or shine. So, we'll bring your umbrella, but we'll still be there.
Bring your umbrella and your rain boots if you need to, but don't miss it one way or the other.
Yes. Yes.
Well, we are going to wrap up our conversation today with Jessica Priest Cahill. She is the executive director at Warren County Habitat for Humanity. Again, they're at Home with Habitat. Home Expo is happening on Saturday, September 12th. They're going to have live music, demonstrations, vendors. There's going to be food, and all of it takes place at the Warren County Fairgrounds. Free admission from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. I'll have links to everything Jessica mentioned up on the podcast page. Just head over to theriver953.com, choose the podcast tab, and then from there you can find the Valley Today. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll have a brand new episode of the Valley Today ready to go for you. So meet me back here just a few minutes after noon.